In this video, we're going to be looking at what happens when one of the most respected guitar builders from the last 50 years enters the market at a new price point. This is the Sceptre Ventana designed by Gary Levinson. So Gary Levinson has been building guitars for over 50 years, and he is one of the most respected and well-known builders in the business. Now, you may know his work best from the Levinson Blade series of guitars. While you can pick some of these up for around £500 to £600, there's also a lot of the guitars in this range that go up to about £1,300 to £1,500, and then some top-of-the-range stuff which goes up to well over £2,000. Now, the Levinson Blade name comes with a certain expectation of quality. A lot of those guitars are played by top session players. You only have to spend 5 minutes over on the Blade website and read through the list of top session players that have used the guitars to know, kind of what we're dealing with here. The Sceptre Ventana is Gary Levinson's entry to the market at the other end of the pricing tier. These retail in the UK for around about £300 to £350. This is the standard model with 3 single coils. There's also a deluxe model with a humbucker on the bridge for slightly more, but you're still talking well under £400, £450 for a high quality guitar that still bears the Levinson name. So before we dig into the specs of this, I want to let you guys know that this is a sponsored video today. The guys at Levinson are paying me to make this video, and they've provided me with this guitar that you see in the video. But as always, all the thoughts and opinions contained in the video are my own. So this is the Generation 2 Ventana. There was a Generation 1, and now we have the Generation 2 models. So what this is a guitar that is A, affordable, and B, very, very playable. Now, if you've seen my unboxing video of this, which is linked in the top corner of this video, you will know how much I actually like this thing straight out of the box. Now that I've had this sat in my studio for a week or so, and I've played it quite a lot, I'm quite happy to report that I like it even more, because now obviously it's all settled. The guitar is kind of acclimated to the temperature in the room. The strings have settled in, and yeah, I do pick this up and play it most days. It's a really inspiring guitar, actually, considering the price that you're actually paying for it. And I really think this is a big testament to the quality of work that can be done at a lower price now. And I think across the board, we as guitar players have come to expect a lot more from our budget-friendly brands, and they have responded with things like this and made us better quality guitars. And that's a great thing, because now you don't have to spend $3,000 to get a guitar that's playable. You can spend £300 and end up with something cool like this. Now, the first thing is the color. This comes in a bunch of different colors, which you can see over on the website, which is linked down below in the description. This one is Sonic Blue, which is a classic Strat style color, but paired with this tortoise shell pickguard, I think is very, very eye-catching. I really like this color combination. I know that the tortoise shell pickguards are not to everyone's taste. Me personally, I love them, and I think it complements the Sonic Blue very, very nicely. The body of this is made from a wood called okume or okum, I'm not sure exactly on the pronunciation, but it's quite a lightweight wood. It's very nice feeling, This would definitely not be a backbreaker if you were to play this on stage. We have on top of that 3 single coil pickups, as you'd expect from an S-type guitar, 5-way switch, which does exactly what you think it should, volume, tone. We have a Wilkinson tremolo here, which is the WOV02 tremolo. This is a really good tremolo, actually. Wilkinson have been partners with Levenson for a long time. Gary and Trev Wilkinson have known each other for many, many years, and he's always used Trev Wilkinson's hardware on guitars because they make great quality but affordable stuff. This is no exception. I've played plenty of Wilkinson trems, and this one is just as good as any of them. It feels pretty good, and initial impressions from just playing this at home is this trem does seem to hold pretty well. I've not really had any major issues with it. We have a roasted torrefied rock maple neck, which I personally love. I'm a fan of roasted maple. It helps with the tuning stability, and I love the feel of it. But also, to have a roasted maple neck on a guitar in this price range, I think is just incredible anyway. On top of that, we have an Indian Laurel fretboard, which has a 9.5-inch radius. So I like what they've done there. They've kind of kept with what we traditionalists like in a fretboard. They haven't gone super modern there. Got 22 frets on top of that. I'm not sure exactly what the fret size is, but they are stainless steel frets as well. It's worth mentioning. Again, £300 guitar. We've got premium features like the roasted maple, like the stainless steel frets. The fretwork on this guitar is actually one of the best I've ever felt out of a box, especially in this price. There's absolutely no fret sprout or no sharp ends whatsoever, which I was very impressed by because, I've tried a lot of guitars that sit in this price range, and there's normally 1 or 2 things out of the box that you think, this will be a great guitar when I tweak them. This guitar didn't have any of those problems, so this just came out of the box as a good guitar, which I think is an incredible testament, and obviously, which is why it has the Levinson name on there, because that name itself does stand for something. But yeah, great feeling fret ends. There's no kind of sharp sprout there. Up at the headstock end, we've got a bone nut. Again, premium feature on a not premium priced instrument. Proudly displaying the Levinson name there. And the tuners on this are kind of vintage style tuners. I've actually still got the little plastic white stickers on there that I need to take off at some point. I'll take one off now just so you can see. And these are from a Taiwanese company called DeYoung, I think it's pronounced, tuners. Again, they're not a brand that I'm familiar with, but they feel pretty good, and there's a bunch of information over on the Levinson website about everything this guitar is made up of and why Gary Levinson chose those parts. He likes those tuners, and they seem pretty stable to me, so I'm not going to argue with that fact. And also, just to alleviate any sense of doubt, this is a 25.5-inch scale length, exactly what you'd expect for a guitar that looks like this. But we have a couple of little modern features like this slightly recessed neck heel, just little things to make it a bit easier to get right up at the top end of the fretboard. But yeah, to be honest with you, out of the box, this is one of the best setup guitars I've ever felt in this price range. And I genuinely think I would not hesitate to take this out on a gig with me or on tour. It feels really good quality, and it genuinely feels like it would last on the road. I think, again, like I've said already, that Levinson name stands for something, and this really is no exception. Even though this is a £350 guitar, there is no way that I would think twice about playing this alongside anything else. So yeah, I'm going to plug this thing in now so you guys can hear some of the sounds. All right, gear-wise, I've got the Ventana plugged into the Blackstar Studio 10 6L6, which is running completely clean. That is going via the 2-note Torpedo Captor X. And on the desk in front of me, I've got a drive pedal from a company called Great Eastern Effects Company, and the pedal's called the Designer Drive. I'm going to be using that for some overdrive later on in the video. I'm going to start with some clean tones. I'm going to go through the 5 pickup positions. Obviously, with this being an S-type guitar, it is what it says in the tin. We've got the bridge pickup for position 1. Position 2 is bridge and middle. Position 3 is middle. Position 4 is middle and neck. And position 5 is neck. Exactly what we'd expect. So I'm going to play a bit now and move through those 5 positions. Now we've got a really nice range of single coil sounds there, because that bridge pickup is not as kind of abrasive and spiky as a regular single coil bridge. It's actually got a little bit of top end roll off, which I mentioned in my unboxing video as well. And I think that's really nice, because even when you're digging in, that's still a very usable sound. It's a very usable, to be honest with you, it almost kind of reminds me a little bit more of like a Tele bridge pickup than a Strat. It's a bit twangier than what I normally associate a really thin, harsh Stratty bridge pickup as being. And then you've got that neck pickup, which just has enough low end, but it's not muddy. Still got quite a nice kind of percussive, snappy sound. And what they've done really well, I think, is in those in-between positions, like position 2 and 4, they're very chimey. Sometimes I do find with those position 2 and 4s in some triple single coil guitars, the makers lean a bit too much on the out of phase thing, but these are actually still incredibly usable sounds. Like if you're playing single note stuff, there's still a real kind of crystal clear bell-like sound there with a little bit of that out-phasing thing. So I actually really like those in-between positions as well. There's some really cool sounds in this clean. Now I'm going to turn on the designer drive. I'm going to hear all 5 pickup positions with some overdrive. It's worth mentioning that positions 2 and 4 are actually hum cancelling as well on this guitar. So in positions 1, 3, and 5, I'm going to get a little bit of hum because I'm using some gain and I'm using single coils. But when I go to 2 and 4, it's going to remove the hum together. So I really like the way those pickups sound, actually. There's a real vintagey vibe to what I'm hearing. It's definitely got a little bit of a high-end roll-off, which for me is a good thing, because as a gigging musician, obviously the louder you are, the brighter things are going to be, and obviously sometimes you want to tame a bit of that treble. So I actually quite like a pickup that kind of shaves the highs off a little bit, especially when you're playing bridge with overdrive. To me, again, kind of almost sounds telly-ish in its application. And then position 2 and 4 actually don't sound muddy at all when you play with drive, which is historically something I've had trouble with in the past. Is, you know, you go to position 4 with some overdrive and there's a ton of mud there because the pickups are kind of pulling the phase a bit too much. But on this guitar, actually, it actually retains a lot of that clarity, which is nice. And position 2 sounds great with drive as well. So yeah, all in all, there's some really, really cool sounds there. Now, the only thing to really test is the tremolo. Now, this is a Wilkinson non-locking tremolo. So keep that in mind. Obviously, this is not a Floyd Rose tremolo. So if we're doing some extreme dive bombs, there's a likelihood we're going to go out of tune here. But let's give it a test and see how it goes. So with a little bit of moderate tremolo use, we're still pretty much in tune. I mean, obviously I wasn't going too hard on the bar there. I was pretty much using a non-locking tremolo for what you probably would use it for. That's pretty much stayed where it needs to be. I think the G has gone slightly flat, but again, nothing major. Now I'm just going to dig in a bit more on that. Now, you're probably not going to be using the tremolo on this guitar like that, but that's pretty good, actually. I'm actually just going to quickly turn my tuner on and just check what I'm hearing. So the E is still in tune, the A is still in tune, the D is still in tune, the G is still in tune, the B is slightly flat, and the high E is slightly sharp. So again, I was really giving that tremolo some there, and it pretty much stayed in tune, as you saw, so that's a great result. But yeah, there we go. There is the Sceptre Ventana by Levinson Guitars. Please check out some of the links in the description to find out more about these really cool guitars. I'm really impressed by this, and considering the price that it sits at, I would not even second guess this if you told me it was 2, maybe even 3 times the value that it is at street value. I would easily have said this could have been a £650 to £700 guitar straight off the shelf. So yeah, I'm very impressed by this. Let me know if you guys have tried one of these. There's not a ton of major stores around the UK that are stocking these, but there's a lot of small boutique and kind of family-run guitar stores all around the country that do stock these. So check out the dealers list on the Levinson Sceptre website and go visit some of those small stores and give them some support as well. Go try one of these out, because I think if you're in the market for a real high-quality guitar that does not break the bank, I think you'll quite enjoy one of these. So yeah, please check them out. Let me know what you guys think of the sounds of this thing down below in the comments. And while you're doing that, hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing as well. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for watching, as always.